Hello and welcome back to Pilates with Marilyn. My name is Marilyn Harder, Pilates instructor and Pilates master trainer. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 7. Today we are going to be focusing on my favorite muscle group, and our topic today is our ever-changing body. So with that, go ahead and get your mat and we'll go ahead and lay down to get started. So we're going to come all the way down to begin today, and I want you to just take a moment and line yourself up with the back of the mat. Bottoms of the feet, hips, shoulders, crown of the head, and then bring that hand right in front of the rib cage. I want you to take a moment and just anchor the bottom side of your body to the floor. Your foot, your knee, your hip. Notice, is one hip stacked on top of the other, or do you have to down slip it to do so? And when you down slip that hip, think about stretching the crown of your head in the opposite direction in what we call axial elongation. Now, exhale out completely. Let's take a couple breaths. Big in through the nose, expand that rib cage. And exhale out completely. Feel that corset wrap around the midsection. Now, your neck should be long, one rib stacked on top of each other. And I just want you to notice this connection. Maybe you close your eyes. Now, we're going into clams. Bottom heel is lifted. Feel that inner thigh support without those hips rolling forward. Heels glued together, and then start to lift. Engaging the glute in the deep rotator of the hip, glute med. And I want you to think about lifting and lengthening open while staying really active through that body, active through the core. Now, when I took you through that visualization, you should feel really connected in through the movement. So when we are experiencing life, really all that exists is this moment that we are in right now. So our experience with our body is only in this moment. However, because the human body was designed to shift and change and adapt, whether we eat more or we eat less, or we move more or we move less, or we just age, that concept or construct in our head can really play with our moment-to-moment experience of our human body. So I talked about in several sessions before from a book that I really highly recommend. It's called More Than a Body. Instagram handle Beauty Redefined. It's a set of twins who are PhDs. And they talk about body neutrality, body image resilience. And I think truly that boils down to experiencing life in one moment of one. So each and every moment we live, we have a human experience of our body, a snapshot in time. Now, if we had no remembrance of how we used to be and no vision on how we feel we should be, we would decide in this moment our body is good. Our body is perfect. Our body is our vehicle. We can get from point A to point B. We wouldn't even bring or draw attention. We might notice limitations in strength or limitations in pain or an abundance of feeling healthful and present, but we wouldn't necessarily aesthetically judge it. Good, so keep going. We're going for a set of 50 here. So our glute med and deep rotator of our hip are really responsible for a lot of the mobility and or strength of the movement of our legs, yet we don't work them often enough. So 3 sets of 50 is where we're going today, broken up by some things in between. And I want you to really notice this experience. Each and every clam you do, you should feel that muscle contract. It is an experience of one. You may need to rest during these sets, pause, stretch, reset, and then come back to it. Just join me as you can. All right, we're rounding the corner of this first set, and I want you to notice, is your body still really active in space? Do you still feel that foundation that we set up? Leg to the floor, bottom rib lifted, spine nice and long, core nice and engaged. If not, reconnect it. Make each clam count. It's not a set of 50, but it's 50 sets of 1. We've got 3 more. On 2, and then last one. Let's go ahead and bring it on in and roll it over. Feeling a nice, good stretch. So as our body ebbs and changes, we can become disconnected. I'm just gonna chest lift up and really pull this in and get a good stretch. You're gonna roll that ankle in one direction and roll that ankle in the other direction. Good. And then let's go ahead and bring those knees in. We're gonna rock up and roll to the other side. So for me, this move here is where I go when I feel disconnected with my human experience. I start to feel not as strong. Maybe I don't feel my body in space. Go ahead and lift that bottom leg, and we'll go ahead and clam it open. Now, as you begin to clam, I want you to notice the experience of these. Do they feel the same as side 1? I will highlight that difference. Side 1, I had you come into your body and draw awareness from your toes all the way to the crown of the head before we even began. This side, I told you to roll over and get into it. Intuitively, you may have aligned your body and experienced that without even my guidance. Now that is the goal. That is the goal of coming into your body and experiencing it in each moment. Now for me, this is what, rep 10, and I'm finally starting to find the muscle. So I'm gonna have you guys pause and come back into alignment, crown of the head, ribs stacked over ribs. Now find the leg, the weight of it down on the floor, kind of press it in, and I want you to feel those hips stacked. If they're not stacked down, slip them, and really lengthen the crown of the head in the opposite direction. Pull that rib cage in, maybe close your eyes, lift that bottom heel, anchoring the toes, and then go ahead and lift up and lengthen into the clam. I will tell you instantly, this feels far different than that first few reps. And that is because I brought total attention and presence into my body. And I can feel my body, and my body is good. Now, here is where the topic comes into play. As we adapt, as our human body adapts to all the variables of life, whether it is an injury and compensation, whether it's the amount of food we've eaten, the quality of food we've eaten, the amount of movement, the quality of movement, all of those things will adapt and change within our body, and it will change our human experience. Now, when we change that aesthetic, we hold that aesthetic in our head as our best life. Oh, if I could only weigh that amount, I know that I would be happier. And we tie things of human adaptation to things that are not even part of that, which is the joy of the moment. The joy of the moment comes from presence. The joy of the moment does not anchor itself in your personal aesthetic and experience of your body. It can play in its health, but in the moment, we can only be in the body we're in that moment. So if health is low, then we find as much joy as we can in that moment, but we're also inspired to action. When we are in that body, when it changes, we're inspired to do something about it. For me, this particular move, this is my return to my body. I really have to work at it because of the way that I was born. When I was born, my femurs were so internally rotated, and my mom's tiny 90-pound belly, that the hip socket didn't quite develop correctly with the head of my femur. And as a result, you know, I wasn't in good alignment. That's my default. That's what I go to when left to my own devices. We've got about 5 more. So, thankfully for my mother, she did not listen to the doctors when they said that they wanted to break my femurs and reset them. She instead did a whole lot of massage, physical therapy, orthotics, bracing, all of the things that they do to change alignment of the legs in youth. That was our last one. Go ahead and roll over onto the back. But it didn't change my physiology. My anatomical differences that developed in the womb. Thankfully, it did impact my ability to control outside of homeostasis, meaning at rest. So I know that when my knees start to hurt, my back starts to bother me, I notice my knees knock in pictures, I just feel a general malaise or weakness, I've got to return to my hips. Let's go ahead and lay on down, and then I get inspired to take care of the rest of my body. So we all have that one entry point. Let's go ahead and wrap our hands back behind our head, shoulders back and down. We're going to warm up that core. Big inhale here. Exhale, chest lift up. Deep neck flexors, chin drawn in. Make sure you're into that imprint. And we're going to go ahead and lengthen those legs out. Now, if lengthening and floating those legs don't work for you today, bring them up into a tabletop and lengthen out those other legs. All right, now we're going to hold that there as low as you can go. If this starts to bother your back, raise those legs. Just find where that neutral is for you. And we're going to crisscross those ankles. Squeeze the upper inner thighs to crisscross the ankles. So it's not a movement of the foot. It's a movement of the entire leg. Maybe open them a little wider. Cross a little higher. Where is that sense of control there? Good, keep going. We'll go 2 more. And when you're even right to left, we'll bring those knees in, set the head down, give ourselves a little rock from right to left, and then we're going to come up to that seated position. Let's go into set number 2. So as I said, this is my entry position into my body. And when I'm here and I feel those muscles, it reminds me my body is good. My body is incredible. Find the weight through the body. Close your eyes and see if you can take your own mental inventory from your foot, knee, hips, ribs, bottom side of that waistline, shoulders square, neck is long. Find that powerhouse connection, inner thigh lifts, and go. Good. So this particular entry into my body reminds me how amazing adaptation can be. How powerful my body is in this moment. I wasn't supposed to be able to walk, so I find joy and appreciation. I also love how much my glutes burn and how easy and fluidly I go on walks with my family. I appreciate the function. And in those moments, whether I'm 80 pounds overweight, which was about my highest over what I am now, or I am tight and fit from running a half marathon like 5 years ago. So it doesn't matter where my body is in space. It's the quality of the experience in my body in the moment. And that is something we can always return to. What does my body want? What does my body need? So I challenge you to write down when your body felt the happiest, not looked the happiest, but felt the happiest. I'll tell you that I guess aesthetically I looked the best about 5 years ago, but I didn't feel the best. Running, because of my fun hips, was not fun on my knees. I had a lot of neck pain from the jolting and my hypermobility disorder. I loved the way clothes fit. I loved the way that I looked in the mirror, but I was deeply fatigued and so often didn't want to leave the house. So it was not my best operation of my body. Now, I will tell you that the best I have ever felt in my body has been in this last year. I have focused in on my internal health, in working my imbalances as a restorative wellness practitioner, working on my gut health, my hormonal balance, my blood chemistries. My body feels amazing. I wake up and I love the way that I feel. I feel most connected to my body. Pilates has been huge in my embodiment practice and the way that I feel in strength and power. I look at my body and I am appreciative of it. I have found a place where I don't judge it. It looks different, but it has adapted to the best it's ever felt. Good, we'll go 5 more. And I'm learning how to listen to it. And it is a practice. So intuitive eating, intuitive movement, intuitive health is a practice. One you have to do each and every day. We'll go ahead and go a few more. This for decades evaded me. I didn't understand. I felt like I had to have someone tell me what to eat because I didn't trust myself. 1 more. And then let's go ahead and bring it in. Roll over onto your back, find that figure 4 stretch. So if you're at that point in your journey, don't judge it. Know that you have to grow through it and come back to a place of trust. And you can only come back to a place of trust when you know yourself, when you know your body. And you only begin to know your body when you actually come home to it. It's as simple as that. Good. And let's go ahead, rock it up to a seated position. We're going to do a few roll downs before we move to the other side. So that's to lengthen those toes out, hike the sits bones over, under, find nice and tall position through the crown of your head. Inhale here. Exhale, draw through that belly, curling under through the tailbone, reach in opposition of those toes. Try not to send that head forward and just find the natural curvature of that pelvis as you slowly roll and make your way down. Inhale up and over, try not to pop the ribs. Exhale, chest lift up. If your body doesn't quite do this today, remember we have modifications in season 1. Lift up and over, find that deep spinal curve and restack it back up nice and tall. This time we're gonna hinge forward. Inhale here, hike those sits bones, exhale, hinge forward. Now, from this position, I want you to lengthen the spine and imagine a bowling ball coming towards the core. Keep this positioning of your body, keeping that belly button in, rolling along the natural curvature of that spine. Slowly make your way down. Hands come up and over, and let's exhale, come on up. Chest lift up, lift and lengthen up all the way. And let's roll over and do the other side. Set number 2. Now, if after set number 2, this is enough for you today, again, honor that body. Use the back of the mat to line yourself up. Take your mental inventory. Bottom of the legs, hips stack, bottom waistline lifts, lengthen through the crown of your head. Lift that bottom inner thigh and go ahead and go. I like to anchor my toes. You may have noticed or not in the video. This is where I find the right spacing for me. Now, there are plenty of iterations of this particular move, especially with adding in a TheraBand. So if this becomes easy for you over time, because your muscles are really strong, and that 3 sets of 50 don't even bug you anymore, add resistance. Once you master this with resistance, you add length of lever, so you turn them into 3 sets of 50 of externally rotated leg lifts. So keep going. Just know that you can do this particular flow in many different ways to continually challenge your body. Good. Now, I feel really sticky and tense, so I'm going to try not to grip as much. Relaxation is also a piece of coming into your body. Efficiency. Where is that movement? Where is that freedom? So aging is also a mind trip, but it's incredible also. We began aging the moment we were born. We don't think of it that way because we think of life as an arc, because we have learned it that way. But life isn't an arc. It is only this moment. We are like toddlers in any given moment, where we have the opportunity to return to the curiosity and the wonder that life provides, the wonder of our bodies. And that can even happen in the craziest of schedules, the craziest of days, in the moments when we just pause, take a couple breaths, notice how beautiful the sky is, how incredible the sound of a child's laugh is, that even in our messy house, how warm it feels with love. Those are the one moments of one, and they exist in every single moment you occupy. We just miss them. We focus on the construct of what we think it should be, and that's based on past experiences and future expectations. Neither past experiences or future expectations exist in your body. That exists in your mind. So when you're thinking about the past or the future, I want you to check in with yourself. Am I occupying my body right now? Do I feel it? I have found that it's almost impossible for me to focus in on what I feel in my body and think about the past at the same time. It's an oscillating experience. I think, what do I feel in my body? Oh, I feel that emotion or that past here. And then if I'm focusing here, I can't think about the experience. It just has to go back and forth, or I stay in my body and I release the experience. And it's a beautiful thing. Whew, we're getting close to that second set of 50. And this is ish. We're going 50-ish. So if you're a counter and you're thinking, gosh, Marilyn, we are not doing the same number on each side, even it out for you. I go by feel and flow. Driving all of my type A people nuts right now. Just know that I appreciate you and I need you in my life to balance out the pieces that I tend to ebb and flow into. Last one. Let's go ahead and bring it on in. Roll over onto our back and find that figure 4 stretch. Chest lift up. Find that stretch. Flex, roll, and point. Notice anything that you're gripping in your body. See if you can let it go. Roll it the other way. And let's go ahead and bring those knees in. Give yourself a nice tight tuck. Rock it up to a seated position. And if you have anything going on in your spine, this next move is not for you. Go back to some abs we've done before. Otherwise, we're just gonna roll like a ball. So I want you to go ahead and come onto your tiptoes here. Find that place between the sits bones and tailbone. Shoulders back and down. Exhale, hollow to look towards the belly button. Find that floating position. Your breath is the locomotion. Big inhale to drop back. Exhale before you hit the head. Exhale again to come up. Once you've got it, one big inhale, one big exhale. Stay nice and tight. Big inhale here. Last little sip of air. Start to draw you backwards. And pause. Shoulders back and down. Big inhale here. Pause. One more. Pause. And let's go ahead and go back to our last and final set. Last and final set, if you feel like being on your forearm, introducing a TheraBand or whatever it is your body needs, find your alignment. This time I want you to find freedom of movement. Focus in on just being. Can you just be here? Can you find that place where you're not overly gripping? You're just letting the parts of your body be heavy that need to be heavy. Arms, shoulders, hips. The core powerhouse be active. And let's go into our last and final set. Close your eyes and experience this moment in your body. Notice what intuitively happens to any and all thoughts. They float away like clouds in the sky. If they're cycling in your mind, it means your mind has flowed to your body, away from your body. Bring it back into the experience. Maybe this is too much for your body today and you're just enjoying and resting and taking a deeper stretch. Go for it. Honor that piece of you today. Come back to your breath. If your mind starts oscillating between thought and your body, that's a time to take an inventory. Start at the greatest awareness. What do you feel most? Then see what you hear in the background of that muscular engagement. Maybe it is a discomfort. If you're feeling a discomfort, is your body giving you a message? If something doesn't feel right, chances are things are out of alignment. I noticed my low back was starting to speak to me just a little bit. My hips had rolled forward. Maybe you're feeling an overactivation of the shin. Relax the foot, forget you've got one. Maybe you point it instead, rather than flex it. Ooh, didn't like that either. Maybe you're noticing that you're gripping through the neck. Relax it. The neck thinks it can help, it can't. If that kind of inventory doesn't work for you, try and flow from the crown of the head to the tips of your toes. What is it that you feel? Think, okay, do I feel tension? Relax it. Release the jaw. Open the teeth. Do I feel connection? Do I feel discomfort? Ooh, do I feel fatigue in that muscle group? We've got about 10 more. Stay with me. 3 sets of 50. You can do it. If you're melting like I am, it's okay. Remember, your body is good. It is doing exactly what it needs to in this moment. Remember, drink lots of water also. We've got about 5 more. Your body is an incredible instrument. It is not an ornament. Last 2. It doesn't mean we shouldn't honor it with clothes that we like and things that make us feel happy and joy. And last one, but it also doesn't define our happiness in any given moment. Let's roll over onto our back. If you're someone with any scale wounds, you know what I'm talking about. That moment when you step on the scale and you go, oh, my whole day is ruined. That is when the construct of our changing, ever-flowing body has now defined your life. It has defined and overtaken that happiness. And that construct is an illusion. It's a mirage. It is something we will never arrive to. Just like if you were thirsty in the Sahara Desert and you saw a beautiful mirage, if you're thirsty for happiness and you think your body aesthetics can define that, the answer is no. You may get there and realize that what you thought would make you happy, you're still living in that same body. So I want you to go ahead and take a moment, connect to this other side. Find that relaxation and alignment. Bottom leg lifts, bottom heel anchors, and let's go ahead and lift on up. Now on this last side, I'm going to share with you my story of chasing that mirage. So I told you about 5 years ago was what I thought my body looked the best aesthetically. And it felt terrible. Not terrible, terrible, but it did not feel its best. And at my biggest, which was about 10 years ago, I was about 80 pounds more than I am now. And I had enough. Enough is enough. I changed my entire life, everything, from my career to my daily habits. And I thought that if that is the operative word, and when, second operative word, I arrived to this picture I had in my mind, I would finally know peace. I would finally know happiness. I have coined that now, the if-then life. I don't know if I made it up or I heard it somewhere, but I lived an if-when life. I believed my body had failed me. I believe I had failed myself. And I punished myself on the regular, mentally. How did you get here? I can't believe you did this. And I punished my way through gripping through tracking my food and weighing in and reporting. I put myself into Food Addicts Anonymous, thought that there was something functionally wrong with myself. I beat myself up. I punished myself. I woke up in the morning and said, you have to go work out because you're disgusting. I mean, the mean things you would not even say to your worst enemy was my regular playlist. And I noticed that when I played that playlist, I did the work. So I was like, oh yeah, I am no pain, no gain. I'm going to punish myself to my best life. And when I got there, it was a mirage. I still believed that I could not trust myself without a whip. I still believed that my experience in my body, I couldn't trust it because I believed left to my own devices, I would be 80 pounds overweight and sedentary and miserable. I believed I needed to be beaten into submission. And this, when the weight disappeared, I was left with holding a bag of negativity. And I have spent the last 10 years unpacking everything that I had thrown into that bag, every comment anyone had made to me about, ooh, you're looking good, had then become a new punishment. Oh, well, when I see that person, they're not going to think I look as good anymore because I don't look the way I was. And whether you think you are aesthetically awesome or whether you think you are aesthetically not awesome, it is false. We are judging ourselves as an ornament. When we think, I am good, my body is good, I don't buy into your constructs of beauty because it's a mirage. I wake up and I feel good. I feel healthy. I love the way my clothes feel today. I love what I picked out to wear. I personally really enjoy makeup. I like the process. It's artistic to me. So when I look in the mirror, I feel joy. And that had been what I was punishing myself to seek. So if you identify with that, I truly encourage you to take a deep dive into what's good in this moment about you. Anchor into that. Whew, we've got 2 more. I have really burned this booty on this side. Last one. And let's go ahead and bring it on up. All right, with that, we're gonna finish with a deep stretch. If this is not a deep stretch for your body, go ahead and lay on down and find that figure 4 again. And if you have a deeper variation of this stretch that really feels good for you, go into it. Try and anchor those hips down. And we're gonna go ahead and rotate open, growing tall through the crown of the head. also want to challenge you to think that you're given your antagonists in your life as a catalyst for growth. And if you never tackle that growth, listen to those catalysts, they will continually be drawn back into your life. I firmly believe that had I not been born the way that I was born, with internally rotated hips and what I like to call my fun body, I would not know the joy of connection with self in the way that I do. I look at my body as such an incredible teacher that when someone comes to me with pain or discomfort, I can identify. I can literally feel it in my body. I can imagine the muscles that need to be worked. I can imagine the muscles that need to be stretched. I can see the subtleties through movement, and that is paying attention to my own body. That experience of troubleshooting self has really turned into my greatest gift to help others. And I think it translates to all aspects of myself as a body worker, through movement, through restorative wellness, through Bowen work, things I'm called to do. So with that, let's go ahead and hike those hips underneath you, feet together, grow tall through the crown of the head. We'll exhale, hinge forward. And as you hinge forward and release, I want you to give yourself 3 affirmations or compliments on how your body is good today. Things that you really appreciate. My body is good because I moved it. My body is good because I was able to pick up my child. My body is good because. Fill in those blanks as we breathe. Now I encourage you to share those 3 thoughts with someone else. Mine were, my body is good because it's my best teacher. My body is good because it helps me return to the joy of my life. And my body is good because this is how God works through me. So I thank you for supporting Pilates with Marilyn. I thank you for spending time in your self-practice today. You are worth it. Join us at corporatehippieconnection.com for some more lifestyle tips and tricks and coming home to yourself, living your best life. Thank you again.